What's up, y'all? It's your boy Big Herb here from Off the Bench. We got a lot of things to talk about, like the team playing with house money, the rise of JD5, and the midseason pickup of Marshon Lattimore. What could that possibly do for a playoff push? Let's get to it. What's good? What's happening? I'm your boy Big Herb here from Off the Bench, and we got a lot of things to talk about, so let's just get to it. Starting off, let's talk about the fact that we are playing with house money. And right this second, as this is being recorded, we are on the bye week. So looking back at this, first things first, I just have to say, whoever decided to put a late bye week, you need to get punched in the chest. Like, seriously, like a swift, maybe not a punch, maybe a swift kick to the chest. Because who the hell will go ahead and give these players who's playing out of their mind late into the season where they just getting hurt? Come on, y'all got to do better with this NFL. I'm not going to ramble about it no more. So let's get back to what we was originally here to talk about. The Commanders have been playing with house money as of late. You look at the schedule that we have. Yes, it and some people it's cookie cutter, but you can only play who you're scheduled to play with. And with that being said, we have a 8-5 record. And if you ask anybody who's a real Commander fan, and you tell them like, "Hey, you guys are going to be 8-5 this year," we take that in a heartbeat. In the very first year of a recalibration year, we're actually at 8-5. Yes, give me that.
Shut up and take my money.
Now, when I tell you that we're playing with house money, you have to look at this roster, because when you look at it, Adam Peters, when he was asked about this team as far as the roster is concerned, if you looked at him, he had that pregnant pause when asked, "What do you think about this roster?"
I wonder what you think of the current roster.
1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000.
I believe that there's a few cornerstone pieces in this roster.
Yeah, that was a lie. We all knew that this team was ass when he came here. And the fact that he's turned this team around into an actual possibly contender, yeah, we need to talk about this. So let's start off with the QB. A QB of the future, Jayden Daniels. And we're going to get to him later on in the segment. He has been balling out of control as of late. He's the future, and we love the fact that he is actually here. When we talk about the offensive line, who we were sitting there like, damn, this is probably one of the worst offensive lines put together. Turns out, we actually been doing pretty damn good. And shout out to offensive line coach, OG Bobby Johnson, who we didn't think that it was going to be good because his time in New York with the Giants was abysmal. And the fact that we actually held out some of the best, some of the best pass rushers in the league, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, just to name a few, Sexy Dexy up in New York. They been held in check. No tackles, no sacks, no pressures, no nothing. I mean, you got to give credit to when credit's due. Brandon Coleman, he's been doing pretty good as far as starting off as a tackle. So we got to give credit to when it's due. As for our running backs, guys, we are doing good when healthy. Brian Robinson, he's been balling out of control when he's actually hurt, when he's not hurt. I think we've seen the last of Austin Eckler due to his 2 concussions that he had this year. I do think our backups, Chris Rodriguez, has been doing really good as of late. I mean, if you've seen his last game, and he was actually cut the week before. And to see him just come in this past week against the Titans, having 93 yards rushing and a touchdown, I mean, we've been doing pretty damn good. For our wide receivers, other than Terry McLaurin, we need help. I'm just going to call it a spade a spade. You have number 1 receiver, Terry McLaurin, and then you have everybody else. It's like Gladys Knight and the Pips. We really just got to go ahead in the offseason and start picking up some receivers. Now, Noah Brown has been showing up here and there, but I don't think it's anything that's where it's like, oh my God, we got a legit number 2. No, we need to go into the offseason and get some receivers. When it comes down to the tight ends, I mean, Zach Ertz is doing pretty good, but I feel like we can do better. John Bates, I don't want to see him catch a pass because he's a great blocker. Ben Sinnott, we just need to see more as far as receiving. He's been doing really good as far as blocking, though. So let's move on to the defense. Starting off from the inside out, let's start off with the defensive line. Unfortunately, with the injury to Jonathan Allen this year, he's been put on IR. Jazon Newton and Sheldon Day has been stepping in for him. And I have to say, it's been pretty good. There's no room for improvement, in my opinion. I just have high hopes for this team. I mean, that's just me. But Jazon Newton, the rookie second-round pick, he's been doing really good this year at times. Sheldon Day, I didn't even know the guy existed until the very first game. I was like, who's the short, fat guy that's on defensive line with the dreads? He's been balling out. And we have to give this guy credit because he has been putting in mean work this year on the defensive line. Of course, you have Daron Payne. I feel like at times he could be very inconsistent. He'll show up for you, get you a sack and like 3 stuffs, and then we won't hear from him for about a week and a half. I just feel like he needs to do better because I just have high hopes for this team. Dorrance Armstrong and Cleveland Farrell at defensive ends have been doing pretty good. I mean, they've been doing pretty solid. They're really solid. When it comes to the linebackers, obviously we got the future Hall of Famer Bobby Wagner. I'm going to call it right now. All-Pro Frank Louvu, the Oos. He's been balling this year. Dante Fowler Jr., balling this year. Fowler Jr. and Frankie Louvu, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have the stats on me right this second, but they're leading the team in sacks. Dante Fowler Jr., if I'm not mistaken, he leads the team with 8.5 sacks. And Frankie Louvu, he's at a steady pace going right now for over 100 tackles and 10 plus sacks. That's all pro, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have to keep on reiterating this. Bobby Wagner, Hall of Famer, a label of consistency. This guy is in his 13th year straight with over 100 tackles, and he still could go next year if he really wanted to. Now, before we get to the one where everybody is just like, these guys are ass, let's talk about the safeties. Jeremy Chin came in here on a 1-year deal and is balling out of his mind right now. Sign him up for a long-term deal, please. Adam Peters, please sign him. He needs it. Quan Martin, he's doing really good. I like the kid. I think he's doing he's been really consistent this year. I like what he has in store for the future. And then we go to the cornerbacks. Yeah, we need help because Mikey Sanders still is the only one who's actually doing really good, and thank God Marshon Lattimore looks like he's going to be playing when we come back from the bye week because we need him like bad. I mean, we already got rid of Emmanuel Forbes, our first round draft pick from last year. And he's only been, I can go on a tangent as far as the first rounders who we've let go. That's for another video. Benjamin St. Juice has been just, turn your fucking head around, please. Just for once, just turn your head around at some point. Dude, I just need him to just do something. I feel like in his first couple years, he was actually decent. I'm not going to say he was like, oh, he's on the rise to be good. No, he was decent. Now we put him in as a actual cornerback, like cornerback number 1. No, that's a problem. He does not need to be there. In all honesty, I see that he's going to be gone next year. I mean, because he's in his last year of his contract, I just think he's going to be gone. And now let's get to special teams. Now, when it comes to kickoff and punt return coverage, I think we've been one of the best this year. If I'm not mistaken, I think we're in the top 5 as far as kickoff and punt coverage. We've been doing really good. Punter Tress Way has been really consistent. He's not his Pro Bowl self, but he's not bad either. There's been plenty of times where this offense has been like on a roll to where he didn't even punt for like 2 games. So let's just say, like, yeah, Tressway has been doing this thing. Now, when it comes to our weak side of this team, we need a kicker. I'm just gonna call it, because we had 3 kickers before week 2 even started, and then we landed Austin Seibert. He was actually doing really good in the beginning. He even had special team player of the week in week 2, and then for a long time he was actually doing great. Then all of a sudden he got hurt when we picked up Zane Gonzalez. Zane Gonzalez came in. We're wondering, like, okay, well, what the hell are you going to do? And he was consistent. He made every single kick. And we was like, damn, like, okay, so you had guys like Austin Seibert just like, oh, shit, my job's about to be in jeopardy. I need to rush back. No. Sit your ass on the sideline, because you coming back too early ended up losing us games. I mean, you look at the Dallas game, he was inconsistent. He was bad. He was horrible. And then all of a sudden, we get Zane Gonzalez back. And I'm sorry, because Austin Seibert was put on IR. Zane Gonzalez comes in, and he was. Thank God the fact that we were beating the dog shit out of the Titans, and we didn't have to worry about his kicking woes, because he needs to get himself in check on his bye week. Moving on to the next subject, we got the rise of JD5. Jayden Daniels has been everything as advertised. With him being the number 2 overall pick, Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, the kid is going to be, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be the rookie of the year. Let's just call it what it is. As of today, he was just voted for the 8th time this season as rookie of the week. He's one rookie of the week away from breaking the record, from tying the record, and then another from breaking the record. And last time I checked on the schedule, we got the Saints, we got the Eagles, we got the Falcons, and the Cowboys. Ladies and gentlemen, he's gonna break that record. I mean, the only one I'm really concerned about is the Eagles, and we owe them something. I'm not gonna talk shit about it yet, but that's besides the point. This boy's been consistent all year. He had a 3-game stretch where he wasn't himself. I think it was just because of the injury that he sustained against the Panthers. But he's actually been really good this year. And at times he's been like historically good. I mean, just look at the stats and everything. This guy was putting up video game numbers. And I mean, for the first time since 1991, this team has been putting up 40-point games on 3 opponents. We didn't even have, in the last like 10 years, I think we only had like maybe 1 or 2 40-point games. This year alone, he put up 3. Like this kid is legit, and we need to make sure that we put the talent around him, because let's call it what it is, guys. The Super Bowl window is open, and I'm not saying that we're going to get it this year. But I honestly think with the way that we have our free agency is going to be in the future of next year, being the fact that we have the second most money in salary cap next year. I mean, we got a whole bunch of money. We got a whole bunch of draft picks. I believe in this team with Jayden Daniels. I haven't felt this way in a long time. We have a quarterback, and he plays smart. He's not trying to get himself injured or anything like that. The boy he's a gem. Our last topic today to finish off the show, we're going to talk about the fact that Adam Peters has been making really good decisions this year. And with that being said, let's talk about his midseason pickup of Marshon Lattimore, the former All-Pro cornerback from the New Orleans Saints, who we will be playing in the next week. He pulled off a miracle trying to get this guy. I mean, the fact that we actually had draft picks from the Eagles to set this one up for this season to acquire Marshon Lattimore from the Saints. I mean, in the Saints, let's just call it what it is. The Saints are tanking right now, and the fact that we were able to get him for cheap, that's amazing. Now, the one thing I will say is I'm a little worried about this hamstring injury that he's sustained since we got here. He has not played this year for us. He has been by the time we get to the play the Saints this year, it has been 6 weeks. Really 5. Well, no, I'm sorry. It's 6 weeks only because we only played 5 games because you had the Steelers and the Eagles game that was played in the same week. So he wasn't going to be ready for that. Me personally, when they said that he was listed as doubtful last week against the Titans, that showed me that with a hamstring injury, him getting ready to come back, yeah, that's telling me something that he's going to be ready by the time New Orleans get here. And the one thing about it where people were saying like, "Oh my God, he's not playing. This is we should have never got him." Pump your brakes. Shut up. Okay, he has a hamstring injury. Soft tissue injuries, you need to let them heal. And let's just call a spade a spade. We need him for the future. And the fact that we're getting him right now before a playoff push, I'm glad that he has the time to heal. And then because like I said earlier, the only other team that I really fear on this schedule is the Philadelphia Eagles. And we actually did pretty good as far as passing wise, but having him in there changes the whole aspect of this defense. You can send Jeremy Chin on a blitz because we don't have to worry about the number 1 receiver because Marshon Lattimore is legit. He will shut down whatever side you have. He's fiery. He's physical. The one things that we needed and that Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn has been talking about with this team, you need to be physical. Somebody's going to get hurt fucking around with this team. And I think that because we have that final piece for this season, as far as cornerback is concerned, because it's been dreadful. Let's call it what it is. Mikey Standerstill is the only good cornerback that we have on this team. And really his real position is nickel. I will say this, give caution to fans. Let them actually get themselves together because he has been here the last 6 weeks. But he's only been practicing for the last like 2.5. He actually has to get used to actually playing with this team. Get to a point to where it's not going to be just the first week. My man's going to get like 2 interceptions or whatever. He's going to shut down every single receiver that's on the field. Give him time. You got to get that chemistry in with the rest of the team. And that's all we have for today, guys. I want to say thanks for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe on the channel. We want to get these numbers up so we can still talk about more Commanders news and information. I definitely love where the team is going this year. So much so that I'm actually going to take my black ass to New Orleans. First of all, I've never been to New Orleans, so I don't need a reason just to go. I actually have a reason now. I am able to see my team, my beloved football team, play in New Orleans, a town that I've never been to, but I've heard so many good things about partying down there. Gonna be able to see some people down there. Shout out to the homie World Warrior, my homie Jai. Shout out to Rally Captain, who's always setting up parties wherever the team is traveling. I will be down there. So if you see me down there, if you're listening and you see me down there, wave me out. I'll sit there and talk with you. We could chop it up and kick it down there. Also, next week I will be doing a preview on the game. So I'm looking forward to it. Until then, guys, left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. Raise hell. Peace.